Welcome to the Growth with AI podcast, hosted by Integrated AI Services. I'm Peter Martinson, and today's episode dives into how AI is reshaping the way creative and digital agencies operate behind the scenes. Our guest is John Balauat, founder of Help Agency, a white label web development firm empowering agencies to scale faster and deliver more through automation, smart systems, and AI driven efficiency. We'll explore how AI is transforming agency production workflows, what it takes to balance automation with human creativity, and how technology like large language models and code assistants are redefining what it means to build better faster. John, it's great to have you here.
It's a pleasure to be here, Peter. Thanks for inviting me over.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me your story. How did you get started doing what you're doing now?
Oh gosh, my background is in tech, but not on the tech side. I was always in the business development side and worked with startups and
Mhm.
ended up going off on my own after having, I think, a successful career in business development with tech. But my business partner, who is co-owner with me now, he built the business about 20 years ago and hit a plateau and decided, he needed someone who had my types of skills. He's the type of person who's a genius with tech. He just is not into the talking to people as much as I am. And our superpowers gelled together and we talked, negotiated, and now we're
That's awesome. Okay. Um, yeah, it's great to have a partnership like that where one person likes to talk to people and one person just wants to be back behind the scenes hammering out the work.
he just wants to build stuff.
Yeah, awesome. So why did you decide to go white label instead of B2C?
So one of the things we did was when we joined together, we looked at the clientele and we wanted to find out what our strengths were. I actually went to clients and asked, what do you like about us? What don't you like about us? One of the things was communication. They really like the communication. They also like the reliability, not missing deadlines and stuff. And we found out actually agencies were sending us a bunch of work. Over the years, he started freelancing and was just dealing directly to with the consumer, and then built the relationships and picked up agencies. And so we looked at that and we said, why don't we just replicate that? It's less transactional. We're both relationship, even though he isn't into speaking as much as I am, he does love people. And it's less transactional to build relationships and to be there for somebody who needs, our service. And so we decided, let's just focus on helping agencies. Let's go with our strengths. In fact, let's improve upon them. There's always room for improvement. Let's keep on improving the process. Let's make it so that we could give agencies a frictionless experience, not just for their client, but for them. And then the goal being helping them make more money through white label.
That- That's awesome. Okay. So how are you currently using AI at Help Agency to do web development?
So this is interesting. Me and my business partner talk about all the time, and he's the tech guy. So what you're going to get from me is more on the human side. What I'm fascinated, not per se by the technology, but by how humans are going to use it and how it's going to change lives. We're always talking about this because, let's be real, like this technology could replace what we do and drive us out of business, and that's something we're aware of and we're always trying to prepare. So that's one thing. That's one of the main changes is if we're going to keep feeding our families, we have to prepare. And so there's some things that we're doing. There's experimentations we're doing. We're building software to help automate things. And another thing is we're using it to leverage. And, if we're going to compete cost wise, we have to find ways to use AI while still keeping the custom quality and aspect of our work. So we'll use AI to do certain things that will make it easier and faster while still doing a custom site for our clients and our partners.
Okay. So I'm curious, how has that changed your throughput? Have you been able to quantify, is it like a 1x or a 2x or?
I'm sure he thinks in numbers. I don't, but it has definitely made things faster. We're super fast now. We were fast before. That's another one of our strengths is just the process that Carlos created, through mistakes and through, the pains of, building lots of websites. We have this process that makes it faster. It's almost like an assembly line, and the team, has been together for a while, so we know each other, and it made it even faster though, because now, you need a logo. We could take your logo, we could stick into AI, we can modernize it, make it look a lot better, not having to use a graphic designer or one of our graphic designers and pay them. So yeah, it just made things faster.
Okay. How big is your team?
So we have 6 in the United States, and then we have about 15 in Asia. Our junior devs are all in Asia, but all of our head devs are here in the United
Gotcha.
States. And so we're the ones who do the project management. We're the ones who do the quality control, make sure everything is right. One of the pain points of doing offshore, hiring offshore is the cultural gap and the communication gap. And so our partners don't feel it. We're the ones that actually do all that, and we, again, try to make it frictionless for our
Yeah.
partners.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel a little bit bad sometimes. It'll be noon my time and I'll be talking to somebody in India or Asia. And I'm like, what time is it for you? And they're like, oh, it's, 10 o'clock at night or it's midnight. I'm like,
Oh, yeah, that's normal.
I'm
They're
sorry. And they're
working
like,
at
yeah,
3 AM,
this is our life. This is what we do. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm still sorry.
right?
So, what have been some of the biggest challenges you've faced when introducing, AI or new tools into your agency? I'm sure there have been challenges for that.
I don't From my point of view, I don't feel it. Carlos does a great job of shielding that for me. We make more money with the more I could spend time with people and build relationships and, make sure everything is running smooth from the people side. But so I don't really feel that, but, you know, maybe he'll be on the show. I'll get him to be on the show and he could give you more technical aspects of that.
Yeah. Okay.
I only
Um,
get the benefits, because I use ChatGPT to improve my own process in relationship management and, making sure that I have tasks that are lined out and integrating things with my CRM, stuff like that. So I only see the positives, but I'm pretty sure there are negatives that he's encountered.
okay. Well, so then in your view, what parts of the agency value chain that you've got are least likely to be disrupted by AI?
Gosh, I think everything is going to be disrupted. And I hang around a lot of agencies. I do a lot of networking. And what I've noticed are the people who are thriving are all specialists. So they do something. They do something that is kind of niche and
Mm.
AI hasn't figured that out yet. The technology is not there where a human doesn't have to pay attention.
Hmm.
For instance, even agencies that they could get AI and they could make websites, but the technology is not there where they could trust everything to the technology and deliver it to a client and still protect their reputation. There has to be project management, there has to be quality check and all that. So, especially in big projects, but you know, I think the future is, at least for the short term, specialize. And even then, that's where my fascination goes because when the technology is available, how fast will humans adopt it? We still have clients who use Hotmail for their email. Uh, I we had a client recently, very successful man, multiple successful businesses, and we had to teach him stuff about his email, like he was lost, and so That's where my mind goes. Is like, okay, the technology is gonna be available maybe sooner than we think. How are people going to react to that? How are they gonna use it? So those are the questions in my mind.
Yeah, that's actually my fiance still has a Hotmail account. She uses it for like junk signups, but she still has a Hotmail account.
Yeah.
The one that I haven't seen recently is an AOL.com account. I don't know. Maybe those
I
are all
think I've
gone.
seen one. I don't know how recent, I don't remember, but I think it's still out there.
uh, so like looking ahead, a year and a half, how do you plan to scale your agency because you're able to do things so much faster now? I mean, does that mean that you're planning on scaling up, either increasing headcount or increasing clients?
So, we feel that we're on the lookout. We were talking about 2026. We think 10 more partners. We take care of a lot of agencies, but when I say partner, I'm saying they send all their work and they're doing at least 3 projects with us a month.
Mm,
We're looking to increase that. We think we can with AI and, with what we have, with the team that we have, 10 more. And so that will be the goal for 2026. You know, hopefully we reach that.
so is that I missed it. Was that 10 more
Partners.
employees or 10? Okay,
Oh,
so
no,
10
no,
more clients,
agencies. Yeah,
agencies. Gotcha.
yeah.
Okay. So, well,
And
that's just,
agencies that send us all their work because we have a bunch of agencies, and
mm.
maybe, they'll do 1 project every quarter or 2 projects every quarter, but we want to look for partners that will, again, send us at least 3 paid projects a month.
And how do you find those clients, or how do they find you?
Networking is what's working. We've done bunches of things, cold email campaigns, paid ads. What we offer takes trust. You're basically trusting us with your clients. And, so it's not something that is going to be a quick sale. And
Hmm.
networking, I do a lot of networking. I love networking. It's one of my talents. And, over time, if I'm able to communicate and hang around the same rooms, I could get the trust and they give us a shot. So networking is what's working.
Okay, so it's that inhuman or in-person human connection
Right.
to build a connection and build the trust. And all right.
And I gotta say that is actually what I'm hearing from a lot of people, not just agencies. They're
Mhm.
looking for humans. They're looking for people that they like and that they could trust and that they could connect with. And that is the reason why we got into these agencies is because there was a human connection and there was something that we liked about each other.
Mhm.
And we started talking business and then now we are. So
So going back to an earlier comment about specialization, does your agency specialize in a certain kind of website? Is it heavy on animation, or is it heavy on something, or is it on one platform, or
we could build almost anything. Predominantly, the requests are WordPress, but lately we've been getting a lot of Webflow, Go High Level, and so we could build multiple platforms. We still have agencies that ask for Squarespace or Wix, you know, but whatever floats your boat, we'll give you what you need.
but do you specialize any more than that? Back to your discussion earlier about specializing?
No, our specialization is agencies making it, that's our niche is
Okay.
listen, we will make the process smooth for you. It, it won't be perfect right off because we still have to learn how you communicate and how, you know, you, you do your process with your client. Usually takes us 3 to 5 projects to where we feel like you don't even have you could unleash, but we have to learn about them too. But the fact that we're intentional and that is our goal, that's what sets us apart. And that's our specialty. That's our
Okay.
niche.
Okay. Cool. So, you've been in the business for a while. It sounds like Carlos has been in the business for, what do you say, 20 years.
Yeah.
Do you have any interesting or funny stories about some of the projects that you've had or the clients you've worked with?
Oh gosh. You know, I don't know if I have any funny ones. There are some frustrating ones, but
Mm.
again, that is like that's what we're here for, is we're here to improve the communication, and different people have different demands and all that. We're good with that. We have thick skin, but in order for us to improve, we need the feedback. So nothing goes offhand. I can't think of anything funny.
Okay. Not everyone does. But yeah, well, it's been wonderful talking to you and hearing about the work that y'all are doing and how you're bringing AI in and it's helping to accelerate your work. That's and I certainly hope that your goals for bringing on another 10 clients next year work for you. So, to sort of end things, what do you want people who might hire you to know about you and your firm and working with you?
Great question. I would want them to know that we want our partners to be successful. Yeah, we want money, but part of the reason why Carlos and I teamed up is because we have the same values. We want to feel like what we do matters to somebody else. We want to like what we do. We fired partners because they were just jerks. But so I would want the future partners to know that there is a team that exists that wants to be reliable, that is going to do everything they can to be reliable, to communicate well, to make things smooth for you, and wants you to make more money. And we're real people, that we're not robots. We want a relationship, a mutually beneficial relationship where both of us are successful. So I would like them to know that.
Awesome. Well, those are certainly great business goals, and fantastic. Well, thank you again for joining us on the podcast and sharing some of your stories about your agency. And we'll see you around the internet.
It was a pleasure.
All right. Take care, John.